Yeah, g'day. So you're thinking of moving to the country? Good on you. Great idea. But what about the isolation? I get people asking me this. In fact, when I first moved here, people were convinced I'd go crazy because I didn't have all the people around me. It's a small country town, population of 500 in the town itself and 2,000 in the rural region. The school services. This is low density of population. But that's why I came here. The natural beauty and to get away from the rat race. But it does take some getting used to. But there's some perceptions that you've got to overcome. Now, let's talk about travel time for a start. Now, I live at the end of the, well, not the end of the four-lane section of the main freeway between the capital city of Adelaide and the capital city of Melbourne, between two capital cities. So I've got this main freeway comes pretty well almost to the town here before it drops down to two lane. But that means that when I leave the city, there are no traffic lights. I just go for an hour and 35 minutes. I put the car in cruise control at the state limit, which is 110 kilometres an hour, and basically try not to fall asleep. And then an hour and a half later, I'm at my front door. Now, previously, I lived in the north of Adelaide in what is now a suburb of Adelaide called Gawler. It used to be a country town when I first started living there, but then the suburbs extended to it, and it's just really an outer suburb of the city now. Now, to get from Gawler into the city, it takes more than an hour and a half because you've got all the traffic lights and just the traffic in general and congestion and so on. So it's actually quicker for me to drive to the city from here than it is to get to the city from where I was living in the suburbs previously. But the difference is that when you come here, you pretty soon leave the city and you're driving through countryside. And so people actually feel afraid to drive out here, because they're going through country where there's no houses around, there's just paddocks and wheat and sheep and stuff, and you really feel like you've left civilization. And it's that feeling that makes people feel that they're isolated in country towns, basically. Now, in real terms, when you get out into a community like this, they're smaller communities and they are more friendly. And if you want to develop very close friendships, there's the same mix of personalities as any place. Some people you get on really well, some you less so. But everybody is cordial in a country town. You have to be, because you see everybody every day. So people aren't rude to each other. And there's a certain civility in the community. People are generally friendlier in the country. So living here when you're here is more pleasant. But it's true that, if you've got a wife, for example, who really loves her kids and she likes to be close to them, you should take that into account because there will be a physical distance. And you find even if you did drive back, since it's only a 1.5 hour drive each way, you can drive back and see, your family members on a day trip. There's still that feeling that you are a long way away from people that if you like that. So it really depends on your personality. Some people take to it, some don't. So do you feel isolated when you're in the country? It really depends on your personality. For me, I travel a lot with my work and I have sort of a fairly self-sufficient sort of personality anyway. And to me, I love it. I love the quiet of it. You find people who grow up in the country, a lot of them can't live on a property that's less than 1,000 acres. They just can't stand having any other house near them. They're exactly the opposite to in the city, So I don't think I'll ever get like that. But to be honest, I could handle it. I actually sometimes now think of moving to Central Australia because this place is becoming filled with tourists more, and we've got a big development, a motorsport park coming in up the road, and now there's a lot more tourist traffic and people are starting to move in the town. And believe it or not, even though this town has basically still only got 500 people, I start to feel like this place is getting a bit too crowded for me. And that's the way you change. So we'll see how the future goes. But that's my few thoughts on isolation in the country. But once again, I'll emphasise, if you've got a partner or kids, people that you're going to bring with you, take into account their feelings, or you will fail miserably and you'll be moving back to the city anyway, and you just would have wasted time and created heartache for people. Okay? See you later.